from where they filled in the ponds and built the houses. So that's what I have to say.
All right. Anyone else?
I just need someone to tell me what to do, how to get it done.
We have addressed Ives Landing and their drainage problem, and David lives out there as well, several times. And we've had an engineer. The town does not have a sewer truck, so we know we didn't do that. The county is responsible for the water and sewer.
Oh,
Not-
okay, it was a
not
county
Johnson.
truck. Okay, I thought
Not-
you told me it
not
was
the
a
town.
township. Okay.
And when we allowed that subdivision to come into Wilson's Mills, if I understand correctly, the streets were not up to par, but we accepted it as it was, and the builder was Glenn Weeks, is that correct?
Mhm.
And he was supposed to address any issues that occurred with drainage and road because it was his original design to do that. Not saying that we're trying to back away from your problem. We understand the issue. Somebody needs to fix it for you. And there's another subdivision about to be built beside you if they can jump through all the hoops that they're supposed to. And we have concerns about stormwater drain there. Now, I personally rode through there Saturday afternoon, and I saw if you lived about the fifth house on the right, going in off of Sutherland Road, is that the yard you're talking about?
No, that's my house.
Maybe
On the
you
right,
see.
yeah, I'm down on the, yeah, coming in off the southern,
Sutherland,
there's two
West Chase,
entrances though.
West Chase off of Sutherland comes all the way down, gradually going all the way down and makes a loop and goes around, and they live down at the very bottom of that, so.
I got you. I got
It's where there
you. I
used to
saw
be
water
ponds.
standing two places
And
there.
I started to hold it on with that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I got you. Well, I happened to ride through there because Johnny's yard flooded or his road flooded, and he wanted me to see it because I hadn't seen it in that condition. So I rode in there Saturday afternoon, took some pictures, and I went through Ives Landing purposely to see how things were draining, and I saw everything doing well except for two locations, and the water was standing there. So I can't give you an answer as to what is going to be done because I don't know, but I can say that it's certainly being addressed through the engineer that works for the town and the builder too. And I know there's supposed to have been a couple of meetings about that, but I do not know the results of those meetings.
Leanna's been spearheading this.
Okay, well, unfortunately, she's at home with the flu or bug or something and
okay.
trying to get straightened out. But we'll make note and we will try and follow up with you and let you know what is going to be transpiring.
Again, what was that address again? Sorry.
102 West Chase.
And you signed up and you got your phone number on that sheet.
Didn't put a phone number, no.
That would help.
Okay.
Okey doke. Anyone else? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I got to go along with her.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Figure we'll get it all of that part done at one time.
Sure.
I'm sorry.
Might as well.
All right, so my name's Michael Taylor. I'm at 88 West Chase Drive, which is right next door to Sharon. And we stood in the yard and watched the waterworks on Saturday afternoon. One thing the county did come, or the town, I'm not sure who was, I guess it was the town, came through and worked, or their landscape company worked the ditches. She's absolutely right. Hers is far worse than it was before they started. It has not improved at all. And it backs up on both sides of mine and sits there for a week or more before it ever drains. Now, that's the biggest issue. One thing that I'd like for the town to look into, I feel like, that neighborhood was started 10 years ago. All the streets were built, all the ditches were dug, and then it sat dormant because the first developer went out of business. I feel like what probably happened is the ditches filled up on the lower end where all the houses weren't built yet. Because there's very little vegetation in any of those ditches. When I was about the first one on West Chase, on the side that has the problem. There was no vegetation anywhere, so we know we had sedimentation. I feel like what probably happened is the ditches filled up with sediment. And then when Glenn came through and put his driveway pipes, he couldn't fit but a 12-inch pipe, or it might be 15, but it's a small pipe. So on Saturday afternoon storm, My pipe was full, flowing full from one side to the other, backed up to the level of the driveway. Goes to their house, it's backed up full, level with the driveway. And then as it left theirs, it was flowing down to the big culvert that goes under the road. Where then it turns into an 18-inch culvert that I don't know whose idea it was to put a 18-inch culvert at the end of a 30-inch culvert. But everybody looks at it and knows that was wrong, but it was allowed to be done. I mean, I guess it was the county that allowed to do it. What I'd like for the town to do is to maybe look at the original engineering plans and see if the engineer didn't size driveway pipes differently. All the way down the street, from the highest end to the lowest end, they're the same size. And they progressively get fuller, 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 fuller. Two houses up the hill going the other way from Sharon's, there was a complete waterfall across the man's driveway. All the way across, pipe was full, and it was a waterfall all the way across his yard. The water backed up into my yard all the way to my steps. I've never seen that in the 3 years I've lived there. None of the hurricanes. In my mind, the ditches weren't dug out and the pipes were laid in there, and there's only about this much space between the top of the pipe and the bottom of my concrete driveway. They couldn't put a bigger pipe in there or either had a hump. So maybe the town could look into those plans and see if the ditches were graded properly or probably had sediment. They probably filled in. And it's a mess. It flowed out. You're right. By sundown, everything but our two puddles was pretty much gone. But during the day, I'd never seen that much water. Those pipes were flowing full. And backed up all the way to the level of his driveway. If you go down there now, you'll see the clippings. You can see the contour where the grass clippings floated up. And I just feel like maybe it's not the town's responsibility and maybe it's ours, but he was allowed to put in pipes that were too small. And I didn't know it. I didn't know what needed to be there when I bought the house because I hadn't seen it rain. It was dry as a bone that summer. So if y'all could maybe look at some of that, or have the whoever looks after these things look into those plans and see if it was done properly. And that's all I can ask. And if not, then I guess we'll have to fix it ourselves.
Can I add something?
Absolutely.
Not that I live there. I don't know him, by the way.
That's what you say every time.
I know. You guys have more experience with this than I do. Is it possible to have fire department come out there? And I understand that's how you typically clean out culverts like that under driveways, and just hose it with a high pressure and blow everything out. That would help a lot, because
Is the dirt in the cover?
yeah, what we've got is 3.5, sometimes 4 years now of rain, sediment, what have you, from new construction, and just routine runoff that tends to build up inside those culverts. Do you think that would work? You think Marvin would allow something like that? Would there be a cost to, it's not a town thing, that's us, but would there be a cost to the individual homeowner to just come in there and just blow them all out? The ones that have the problems are pretty much the ones down where they live, at the bottom of West Chase, where everything gathers, to
Well,
include the sewer. So
I got
that,
their water Saturday myself.
yeah, is you think Marvin would, or
You could
Mr.
talk to
Powell
him.
would
We
do
could ask
something
him
like
and
that?
see. We'll ask him and see. We can try one.
Right.
You can do that.
That's a start, and at least we'd be doing something.
I've been over there and seen some of them. Some of them you're gonna have to raise the ditch up some. Some of them, the ditch is lower than the drain pipe.
Mine, the low side of the ditch is on the high side of the pipe. So where the water comes in, yeah, you're right, it's below it's below on the outfall side of my pipe.
And
It's,
from
it's above, the ground's above the bottom of it. So
what I've seen of the sod, nobody's gonna want to take up the sod and replay it. Back, put dirt under it. But you're gonna have to raise the bottom of the ditch up on some of it. I looked at it. We talked about this on one of them last month. And I went when it was dry and after it rained, and there is water that ponds in them, but I don't know the addresses.
Mine hurt. 108, 102 and 88.
Yeah, we got that bit there.
Yeah, I got that.
Okay, we're not forgetting about it.
Yeah.
We've been made well aware and we're trying to do the correct things and push the right people to
I appreciate it.
get it done.
I just wanted to throw that other angle of whether or not it was a plan for dry pipe sizes. Because it was obvious that they wouldn't hold the flow that we had Saturday.
I think standard pipe is 15 inches.
I think it's probably what we have, but we all have to admit that Saturday was, and I've told you at the other meeting we had, I measured it and it was 4 3/4 inches of rain that whole day. We've never had that before.
Not even the last hurricane.
Correct. So we're dealing with an unusual situation here that, and yes, it did flow out over the pipes, but I don't even know if an 18-inch pipe could have handled all that.
I got
if it kept
230s at my house and they didn't.
Yeah, so, but the bottom line is, those pipes could have handled a lot more, I think, had they not been semi-clogged underneath. And that's why we talked about this the
I
other
can-
day.
We'll ask Martin about
All
it.
right.
Let's see if he'll blow one
At
of them out.
least at least it's a step in the right direction. Thank you, Mike.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Yes. Okay, Kay and Nelson Corbett. And we actually have a packet for you. I work for an attorney and you'll be able to see that. This is about the sewer system.
Okay.
And the saga starts back in 2014
Mhm.
when the Environmental Health Department, we applied for a sewer repair. And they came out and they found out that the soil is actually unsuitable. And I know I've only got 3 minutes, so I'm gonna hurry through this. And Miss Linda Hall, that used to live at 210 Jones Road, she was gonna sell us some land because we have to actually go up. All of our land is flat. There's nowhere to put another sewer system. So they suggested and they mapped out, and you'll see it in the packet, they mapped out where she was gonna sell us some land for either an easement or for 2 leach fields. But then, Mr. Jones, Kenneth Jones, went to talk to her and told her about the sewer project. And he came to see us as well. And he told us that she was no longer willing to sell us any land because she felt like we had an option with the sewer system. So we were at a standstill. My husband, he can tell you, he talked to Zach Allis at least 6 times during the planning part of it. And Zach assured us that we were gonna be a part of the sewer project. And Mr. Jones even told us that he made you aware that we desperately needed it. We have no option at this point. And there's a letter in here from Todd Ramsey. There's also a letter in here from Chandra Farmer, I believe is her new name. The only option we have is hooking on to the sewer in Wilson's Mills. We can't go south to Johnston County, that's not feasible. We have no land. The Gammons that recently purchased 210, they have mortgage restrictions, so they can't help us. So we are at the mercy of the council and the mayor to see what you all can do to help us become a part of the project.
Okay.
Seems like we're very late coming to you to talk about it, but Mr. Hollis had assured me time and time again we were part of the project, and I trusted him. I'm sorry he's not here to defend himself. I don't want to talk about him when he's not here, but he promised us we were part of the project. So okay, well, let's wait until it happens. And then surveying started, and we called Miss Worley, and she said, "You're not part of the project." It was a shocker to us.
Right.
So that's why we're here now.
But we really need your help. We really do. We have no other option.
I got you. We're aware of the sewer has to stop and start somewhere. And I think in the original plans, Johnny could address that better than me.
Okay.
But in the original plans, it appeared that it was gonna go down Uzzle Pond Road. And then because of the cost of a pumping station, which was, I don't know how many thousand, $900,000, we chose to pull the plug on extending it. I don't know that I wasn't aware, I don't know that I could have made any difference if I had known, but I wasn't aware of the conversation initially about guaranteeing you were gonna get sewer, or even if that was done, I'm assuming it was, since you say so. But we certainly can look into that and address, and we are going to have some projects that are going to be done again. We're about to complete the one that we're doing now. And it only goes up Jones Road just a little ways. It doesn't go down Uzzle Pond Road at all.
No. We're looking for we're gonna do a new project, and it goes back up off of Sharon Drive. There's,
Okay.
we're gonna have to put a pumping station there. But y'all live down Uzzle Pond Road. The first house on the left, isn't it?
The second one.
It's
brick
second.
house.
Second brick house on the left.
First one was Floyd's or Daddy's.
Yeah,
Yes,
JD.
it's JD's house.
Just to get, first thing we'd have to do is see if we can gravity feed from,
right.
Okay.
And I think that Ms. Farmer in her letter, I think she addresses that.
She addresses the solution.
She
Well,
does address a solution.
does she address the solution on where we're gonna get the money from? That's the number one.
Absolutely not.
That's the number one solution.
But just to let you know too, we're facing, and I understand Mr. Ramsey's got to do what he's got to do. But I mean, this has been going on since 2014, and I'm providing him a copy of all this too. But he told me that he's eventually, and probably not too long from now, got to issue a notice of violation on the property.
And this was who?
This is
Ramsey.
Todd Ramsey.
He's good work.
He's Environmental Health Director,
For
Johnston County. Todd Ramsey.
I've got a meeting next Thursday with, some sewage people and I'll talk to Mike King and see what he can do
Okay.
as far as helping you until we can get sewage in that area.
Okay.
That's all I can say. I
Right.
can't say we're gonna fix your solution. I can't say we're gonna put sewage down there.
Right.
But I'll see if he can go by and look at the situation and see if he can do anything.
Okay. Because the leach field, and you'll see pictures of it, it's just saturated. And all the rain, of
And it's
course.
worse right
It's
now.
worse, it's got water problems
Do you,
right now.
do you have anywhere else to put a leach field?
No,
No.
sir.
How large a lot on your own?
6/10 of an acre.
And like I say, if the Gammons didn't have an issue, they'd be willing to work with us, but their mortgage company won't let them. They'd have to go through an appraisal and all that all over again, so we can't ask them to do that.
That's the new property owner.
That's the new property
It was
owner.
here last month.
Yeah,
Of the horse farm.
the horse farm.
Right.
And speaking of the horse farm, I don't know if I'm addressing the right people, but we want to mention that because of Lowell Court and Sharon Drive and all the children that are there, it might be wise for us to ask for horse crossing signs for Jones Road and also for Uzzle's Pond, just to keep the children safe and the horses safe. I don't know if I need to talk to maybe the
Do they,
police chief.
do they come out quite often? I'm
Well,
there quite a
they
bit.
can get loose. I mean, they are little Houdinis, believe me, I have two of
But-
them.
But if you, well, I'm not trying to.
Oh, you mean the
I'm just-
children?
No. I know the children are always there.
Yeah, the children are
We could put
attracted to
Children
them.
crossing signs.
Yeah,
No, I'm saying, if a horse gets loose, he's not gonna pay any attention to the horse crossing, he's gonna go everywhere. But I'm saying, do the riders typically come across
they
Jones?
may be. Well, they're talking about putting trails and everything in some of the
On the
woods
property.
on the property, so I just wanted to mention that it might be wise to try to get some signs up.
Where would you recommend on Uzzle's Pond?
Probably
where they're gonna go. I mean, the railroad tracks right now.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
And they don't have any property further down to go on the other pond.
They what?
They don't have any property.
They don't have
further
any
down
property
the line.
further down.
I'm not doubting what you're saying, but I'm just trying to figure out where they're gonna be crossing. there.
well, right next to us, the wooded area that's right next to us belongs to the annex. And that's where they're talking about putting
Is that Uzzle
the
Pond and
trails.
Jones, that
That's
section
Uzzle's
there?
Pond right there.
And the
So
big
it might
pine
be
thicket-
wise.
the
Yeah,
big
right
pine
there,
thicket
where
right at
Jones
the
comes in.
crossroad.
Yeah.
You need something there because nobody stops for that stop sign. Whew.
Oh, good gracious, we stop there all the time just because we want to be
You're
safe.
scared you're gonna get hurt.
Yeah, absolutely.
I stood out there one day and there was 11 cars come through and 11 never stopped.
Okay,
I'm
so
gonna give my proposal.
we appreciate any help that you can give us, and if you have any questions, we'll leave our number here.
I'll talk to Mike King and see if he can go by because the county maintenance department is right below you
Okay,
down at Clearwood.
yeah, I just don't want us to get a notice of violation, but, I mean, we've been working on it and he knows it. So it's just been a kind of a one thing happening after another.
That's the only thing I can tell you because we are gonna service Sheridan Drive back in there. Because they've got septic fields and we want to do away with those and put a pumping station in. But then we'd have to engineer the line coming from Jones Road to your place.
Right, and she did, I think she mentioned something about engineering. When I actually met with her and Mr. Ramsey together, because we were trying to come up with some kind of solution.
The county could do it for you.
We'll address that. Johnny meets with them all the time, so
Okay,
we'll address it.
okay,
I'll meet
Thank you
with
for
them and see
bringing
what
it to our
they're saying.
attention.
we appreciate your time.
And Leanna will be with us too, and you can check back by probably in a week or two.
Okay,
I know it's next Thursday.
At 10 o'clock.
thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
I have something. I'm not sure if I'm even in order, but I represent the church, a Touch from Above
Have
Faith
you
Center.
signed in?
I did sign.
Okay, all right. Yes, ma'am. State your name.
Lisa Barber,
All right.
and I'm representing the Touch from Above Faith Center. We've been in Wilson Mills, I think, since 2004. And I know that, I guess it was back last summer, the driveway were, I guess you put down pipes. We wasn't for sure what was going on. We just know we saw the work was being done to the driveway. It was, at the end of it was, I guess pipes were being put under there. And we were just trying to figure out, what was done, what happened. And then also, are you planning to
It's where they cut your concrete parking lot.
yes,
We're gonna fix it.
okay. Well, what did you do?
We put a sewage line under it.
Okay,
And y'all got sewage to your church too, I think.
yes, we do Johnson County Public Utilities.
Mhm. But we had to we got a easement from the church. Mr. Anderson, I guess can verify that. We got an easement from the church to cut that or to run the sewage line across the front of the property or at the roadway or the connection where the highway goes to the general public. And we had to cut the concrete instead of taking it all out. They just cut a street probably about this wide, maybe a little bit wider. But we're gonna go back and put concrete back in.
Okay,
We're gonna fix the parking lot. We've got several places to either pave or concrete, but we're gonna fix that. I say we, Ralph Hars, the construction company, is gonna fix it.
okay. Okay. Well, thank you.
Thank you. That's the Old Baptist Church.
Over here at the old church where Hunt used to be at, over here next to the oil company.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Is between us, just on the other side of the Wilson Mills Avenue Creek.
Got you.
Where the community building used to be.
Absolutely. They're right where you are now. Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
there's been a proclamation done by the mayors of the 11, excuse me, I forgot to close the form. You want to speak, Ms. Fay? I'm sorry.
They right, 725 Powhatan Road. I would like to thank each and everyone who furnished stuff for the Easter egg hunt that we didn't have. But that stuff has not been eaten. It has been put in my refrigerator for Saturday. We're hoping the weather's gonna allow us to have the Easter egg hunt Saturday. So your sugar cookies, your brownies, your muffins, decorated cookies, your chocolate chip cookies and all that are in a refrigerator in little Ziploc bags. So we got
Thank
it
you.
saved. We're saving it.
Thanks, Rick.
Where is this refrigerator?
Anyone else like to speak? If not, we'll close the public forum at 7:14. The mayors of the 11 towns in Johnston County put together a proclamation for a sewer sweep for 2019. I think Wilson's Mills ought to commend itself. David McGowan and his wife and other people have for now several months been picking up trash on Saturdays, and you can tell a difference. But the county realizes, heck, our state realizes there's a problem. And those of you who live on a public road like I do, you pick up trash every week and it's right back and it's the same kind of trash. So you know it's the same people that's their discard place. Still doesn't make it nice. So there's a proclamation issued for Johnston County and all the townships by the mayors, and the week of April the 13th, which was this past weekend, through the 27th. Those 2 weeks are part of a countywide litter sweep for 2019. And we appreciate all those who you would participate and can participate. And if you see somebody throwing litter, report them. We'd like to write them a ticket.
Jimbo, I'd like to say one thing about that. Does not the county pick up anything unless it's in an orange bag?
Nope.
Because I know we've been going back and forth to church. And for the last 5 weeks, there's 2 garbage bags laying beside the road, big black garbage bag over. I'll tell you when it's over with.
All right, I'll make sure
But they're
that,
not in Wilsonville. They're not in Wilsonville.
Is it the Baptist church?
No. It's over. We don't know, young, close to 210.
Okay.
oh, way out there?
All right, we'll move forward with that.
It's not us.
The regular business. Ms. Valerie,
Yes,
planning.
all right, planning report, couple items you haven't seen, we had a couple, minor subdivisions that were approved at the March planning board, one of being which was the rezone you just heard. And all the zoning amendments you guys have heard now. Special use permit, we're just waiting, Cole Road is going to resubmit their special use permit. So that will be coming in a month or 2. And still kind of on hold with the Pogo development project that's off Powhatan. And Willis Crossing is on hold, waiting for resubmittal and a few other things. And zoning permits, just had 2 residential zoning permits, one for a deck and one for a pool that were approved in March.
Val, can I ask a question if you're finished?
Yes.
What's the status of the H&H off Powhatan and Sutherland?
Their construction plans are approved and so they're free to rebuild.
Is that, are they the ones that have started on Powhatan?
Yeah.
Okay.
What you need to do is you need to get somebody to go out with environmental, because they can't muddy up the creek.
Okay.
Are they back far enough now with the digging and stuff that they're gonna muddy up the creek?
They already muddied it up.
They don't have a,
Silk fence.
environmental
I don't know about the
fencing?
silk fence, no, but I hadn't been over there.
Okay.
My question was, I thought they were on hold to get a drain water approval for the wetlands. That's been done?
to my knowledge, everything was a go on their project. I can go back and verify.
Please do, because I thought that was the holdup. You're talking about the piece of property that goes from Sutherland Road to old Jim Barnes Farm that goes from
Mhm.
Sutherland Road all the way to Powhatan Road.
Right.
Yep.
They've got some problems back there. They need to put silk fence up or something. Put dams across Old Creek or something.
They don't know that yet, that they have problems?
I don't know. I doubt it because we're getting more water and muddy water.
Okay. I will check on that definitely.
Is there anything else?
That's not for me.
Well, thank you.
You're
Did
welcome.
you, what did you do with the pictures that you had while ago? Are you,
Right here.
you keeping them for the planning board or
Yeah.
what you gonna do? You
You need to give it to her.
Right, she needs to look into it.
I'll make that happen. Let's see. Mayor Pro Tem Triplett, Street Department report.
Still, Mr. Anderson, we still haven't heard from Mr. Vincent, right? We still don't have the signed deed from him. Central Valley. Right?
He's not listening.
We still don't have the deed. Right. We talked about that. We're gonna try one more time. Johnny, do you have heard anything about Cleo and them giving us?
No, but the way the water was Saturday,
Might get his attention.
I think Mr. Anderson might have to get it. I won't go get involved in this, but there's too many people over there. If something happened to one of them, the way it was Saturday, they would need help.
Did it wash out Saturday again?
It didn't wash out. It just, the water was up.
And I have pictures.
Over the roadway?
Yeah.
Have we dropped the idea of eminent domain? Did we decide we didn't want to go that way? 'Cause we're up against
Condemnation was what I was looking at next.
Yeah, we're up against a wall, and this past Saturday was,
A good example.
And we're
Yeah,
gonna get
perfect.
more, we're gonna get more water from the subdivision.
well,
Like I say, I got your water too.
I made that, yeah, and I appreciate it.
No,
I was talking
I'm
with,
gonna start pumping it back.
I was talking with this gentleman right here, Mike, we were standing out there, we were talking about it. And I pointed out, we went down, we looked at the end of, what's that name of that street, Mike? Hanford, where it goes back for that 44-acre thing of Jim Lampy's. And we didn't go back on his gravel road, but we can see where it was full on both sides. So I was remarking about your place down there, and I really should have gone down there to take a look at it, but we're pretty much, it's only gonna get worse. We're only gonna get more and more water when that new thing's come in. That's what Mike and I are talking about. It's gonna be all more water.
The creek originally starts up of the Barnes Farm where it comes through the culvert at
Right.
Tony Sutherland's at Benson, and
Exactly. I know where you're talking about.
it comes from up there.
Right. And then my place adds to it from what we were
Right.
talking about earlier.
And then
And-
they're gonna add to it when they put those houses over there right
Right.
across it.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. It's gonna be, it's just gonna get worse. And we've discussed it with them, but how many times? And Randy went and spoke with them. Maybe eminent domains are the only way we're gonna go. I hate to say it, but we've given them every chance. I know you don't wanna get involved in that, but everybody else, we've given them every opportunity to give us an easement there so we can do what we need to do. And remember, I look at it, like I told you gentlemen earlier, I look at it as a safety issue. If something happens to you or your wife or the niece that owns that piece of property, nobody's gonna be able to get back to you. It's a safety issue to me, thus justifying.
Yeah, the road clearly needs raising up 3 or 4 feet and the
And
tile needs to be doubled in size.
And Leanne was supposed to be getting the engineer out there to look at it. Has that happened?
I think so. I'm pretty sure that she has, but
I'll follow up with her. Okay. Talk to her.
Well, I just don't wanna see another
I'm gonna follow up with Herman. I'll try to get with him sometime this week. I was gonna go out to his house when I get a chance. And, then if we have to do eminent domain, we'll have to do eminent domain.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to get that road fixed. Well, I mean, we're gonna have to put a new, culvert underneath, right?
Yeah, they were talking about putting 2 4-foot culverts in it.
that's right.
How far did it back up on her property? It usually comes up that road, goes over, but also did it come up
Right
halfway
up to the
hill?
lip of the pond.
Okay, well, we need to do something, I'm just tired of talking about it.
Yeah, we need this.
We really do. And eminent domain, we could back up eminent domain, as much as I hate to use that, we could back that up with safety.
The pond water was not running over into the pond that was built, but it was backed up to it. All right, let's move forward. Councilman Wright, events report.
Well, the Silver Stars basically still having their meeting, playing bingo, having their lunches and so forth, and building some kind of stepping stones. I don't know, my wife brought one home that was all sushi. I don't know what happened. And, Easter activities, flower arrangement at the Carolina Pottery on, April 16th, this coming Wednesday. And you guys won't go out there and make flower arrangements, so they're welcome you if you're all of age. The, event board had the Easter egg hunt planned for this past Saturday. It rained. Rain date was on Sunday, from 2 to 4, I think it was 4. And they were calling for rain moving in between 2 and 3 o'clock, storms and so forth. So they canceled it about 9 o'clock, and then it didn't rain. So they rescheduled for this coming Saturday. Anyone who's got children that would like to get out and hunt eggs on Saturday, I'm assuming it's gonna be around 11 o'clock like it was last, or 12 o'clock like it was scheduled for last Saturday. I've not heard anyone say, but I would think it would be like that. So if you see, have any children or know any children that would like to hunt them, tell them it's happening, maybe, if it's not raining. And we've done some work at the park this past week or two. They put borders around the volleyball court, had a little washout on it Saturday in the rain. And rehung the nets on the badminton court, put the horseshoe pits back into place and fixed the seesaw too. And that's about it. And I still need to don't have to get back out over the tractor and bring some of that topsoil they cut off the road and put around the top side of that volleyball court to stop the erosion on the boards from washing it out. I mean, that's all I know to do.
After you put the pipes around the volleyball court, did any of it wash out with all that rain?
What did I say?
I wasn't listening.
I see how it would wash out Saturday.
Thank you, Philip. You've done a lot of work up there and it really looks a lot better. Okay, Councilman Easton, sewer report.
We're finishing up on Swift Creek, we like about, I don't know, maybe a week and a half on Swift Creek. But tonight, I want to ask for a change order on Poplar Street is one, and you should have a price of it in your packet. The price is going to be about $22,000. We want to extend that line 400 foot. The 400 foot will pick up 60 customers. We cut, when we bid the job, we had to take some off. And we took 400 foot off of Poplar, 400 foot off of Peachtree to bring it in so we could connect it. But now we've got a little money left, and we're gonna come up under budget too on this job. We got a little money left, and I want to go back and reinstate those two streets. Poplar, it's gonna be around $22,000 to $25,000. And it's Pear Tree instead of Peachtree. Pear Tree is gonna be around $35,000. But I do want the 25,000 or 22,000 in first. But I like to do both projects.
And we'll have enough money in the.
We have enough money in the, right now with, with everything in, we're gonna come up about 83,000 under budget
That's great.
with the extensions that we did.
So if you do these two, if you do both of these things, how many
If we do both, we're gonna pick up 60 customers. You're gonna pick up that new subdivision at the end of Poplar Creek, and there's about 60 people out there. And I want to extend it on Pear Tree because if you don't go further down, you're gonna have such a long tap for some of those other houses. I can get it on down and get it in front of the houses, and then too, it'll help out in the long run. Yes, sir.
She's got, Poplar in this,
They've
change
got,
order here.
right, they got
25,
Poplar on theirs.
304. She didn't have Pear Tree on
She
there.
didn't have Pear Tree. No.
Do we have a final figure for that?
Pear Tree's gonna be around 35,000.
I need to have an exact figure. Can they hold it until next time? on
No,
Pear Tree?
because when they finish up Swift Creek, they've already started moving equipment out.
Can we do Poplar tonight and then?
Yeah, we can do
Beach Tree.
Poplar tonight, but we might have to call a special meeting when he gets through with Poplar to do Pear Tree.
You won't, they'll jump on it before the next, meeting, regular scheduled meeting.
Yes.
Or if you have an approximation and we can pick a number that's under what you think it's gonna cost and go ahead and get that much in here.
It's gonna cost around $35,000.
So, I mean, you wanna just add 30 to this figure here? And add the final details when we get the final figure? Might work.
We can add 35.
It's not gonna, you sure it's not gonna come under that?
No.
Okay. Well,
The biggest problem is
that'll work.
paving,
So we're looking at 35 and 25.
30 and 25,
You got to-
$60,000.
30 and 25 is
Wait a
65,000.
minute,
No, it ain't 60.
60,
You got to
35, and 25.
Oh,
I
I
thought you taught school.
y'all got the figure right here, the document's right here.
Yeah, it's got Patrick, I mean,
We'll be talking about adding 35 to that 301 figure.
yeah. I had the figure in, I think it's in my truck.
So you're looking at 336.
And once we do that and get it, but now I'm gonna tell you something else that we're gonna do too. If you go and look at Poplar Creek, Poplar Drive, when Hodge paves the section that they tore up, the other section's gonna have to be paved. I mean, you can go look at it. There's potholes in it, it's 12 pieces. But they're in 7/8 of an inch of asphalt put down there. I think we should make when we start taking in streets and stuff, we should do a core sample on those streets to see how deep the asphalt is and if they've got a base under them. I think it's gonna be a good thing for the planning department to get on and do core samples before we take a street. Because we're down to the gravel over there. They got a good base. There's a good base under the road. And we got more problems too over there in Poplar Creek. You got one man that's running a dump truck service out of a yard, and that don't need to be. You can't mix residential and commercial without a proper zoning permit.
How long have you been doing that?
We've been over there for 3 months. I know he's been there ever since then. He runs it out of his house. But that's where a code enforcement officer is gonna come in.
Right, exactly. Well, what can we do before we get a code enforcement guy?
But we're gonna have to,
Well,
you're gonna have to talk to him and see what he wants to do as far as putting his truck somewhere else, or he's gonna have to buy a bond. If we pave those roads, he's gonna have to buy a bond to ensure that we're gonna have a way to get our money back for paving.
Who's gonna talk to him, Valerie?
Yeah, Valerie, it's in the planning. Yeah, it'll be her.
Is she aware of it yet?
We've discussed it briefly.
All right. While we're still on the top, if you're done, just so I can go back, I took the toller's complaint about that stuff.
Yes.
Is there anything changed? Should I go back? I can tell them about the water. What do you want me to tell them about the pipe?
Well, I talked to Leanna about the pipe. And she seems to think that the rust might look better than painting it black, but we can paint it black.
All right, I'll tell you what, let's do this. Anybody that drives down Wilson's Mills and crosses over the Toller property right near the mill, look down, see that pipe. Tell me if you like the rust car or black. Get back to me. Thank you.
But I talked to the contractor. He said he would paint it.
He did?
Yeah.
Well, and who says it looks good? Leanna?
Leanna said
Leanna
she
drives
thought it
home
might
the
look
other
better
No.
rusty color than
No,
black,
it does
but
not. But the other idea, Johnny, is when it rains, that rust is going to go into that stream too.
well, we're gonna put some riffraff, you know, where you said the water's coming out.
Yeah,
We're gonna put some riffraff under that pipe to go down to the creek to keep it from washing it, because you're never gonna stop that.
no,
water
I
from coming.
understand that. I'm saying with rain on top of the pipe that goes over the stream,
Yeah, I know where you're
with
talking about.
rusty water dripping into the stream.
We can paint it black.
I'd like that. Do we have to have Leanna's approval on that?
No, because the
The contractor. will paint it.
sewer contractor's gonna do it.
Yeah, he'll paint it.
Yeah,
But
But-
if you look, anytime you see a sewage pipe
right,
that's out of the ground,
right.
it'll be black.
That's what I'd like to do.
It'll be black.
We can call it
Because-
green, but we're not gonna fool anybody.
They don't paint them, it's
Paint it
ductile
black.
iron, and it comes from the factory black, and they
Right.
just leave it that way.
Will you talk to Leanna and tell her it's the wish of the board the council to paint it
I'll
black?
talk to Leanna and tell her
Thank you.
that you said we were gonna paint it black.
I'll tell the tollers that you said we're gonna paint it black.
We'll paint it because
All right,
All
I
right,
have
let's
talked
let's
to
move
the-
forward.
I talked to Ralph.
Okay, now, so what do we need to, Mr. Anderson, do we need to?
We need a couple of
make the
motions
thing
here.
on 336,
You need to add $35,000 to this
which
figure
would be
here.
336, 78026.
And then, it's gonna have to be changed several places down here, for the
And-
side.
We're gonna have to present it also to USDA.
Right.
USDA's already got this,
Right.
they've got the Poplar Creek, they've already got that. But we're gonna have to address it to USDA. If we pass it tonight and Leanna comes in, we can get Leanna to call Judy down with USDA in Lumberton and tell them what we want to do and see what they say, and see what they say we have to do. I know Don Gant's gonna have to put a piece together for it.
And the engineer will read this
Yes.
contract, and put the numbers in the right blanks.
Right.
Correct.
We'll re-engineer.
So what do we need to do now?
We need a motion to go forward to take on these two projects, order number 2, and then the one for, is it Parrot Tree Creek,
Pear Tree Drive.
Parrot Tree Drive?
To increase the change order to $336,780.26.
780.
That's correct.
I make a motion that we do change order number 2, and the total is gonna be 336,780. I mean, he says the total here is what we're gonna go by, right?
You're gonna add 35,000 to that.
We're gonna add another 35,000.
Right.
You what you're doing then is you're adding Swift Creek to it.
Well, Swift Creek's in there, right?
Right, Swift
Poplar,
Creek,
Poplar's already included at 25,304.
right.
And then we're adding
Swift Creek, Poplar, and then you want to add
35,000.
35,000 for the.
So that
other
makes the
deal.
total 336,780.26. That's
Right,
what it is. That's what I'm making my motion for.
okay.
I'll second.
Motion has been made by Councilman Triplett, seconded by Councilman McGowan, that we include additions to the USDA with their approvals to 336,780. All in favor? All opposed? The ayes have it.
And we'll be out of Poplar Creek when we get those two sections.
That's a good day's work right there. All right, we'll move forward. Councilman McGowan, Police Department.
I defer to my favorite chief, Chief Williams, for the report.
On March 5th, 2019, our newest part-time officer, Alex Jeffries, was sworn in with Wilson Hills Police Department. That brings our total of officers to 13 full and part-time officers currently. Also, last month in March, the unauthorized group home operating within the town limits was issued a violation warning by the town enforcement code officer. That situation is currently being evaluated on what to do further. Trash and debris cleanup is still being conducted by volunteers, Councilman McGowan and community service assignees each Saturday They've been actively working for approximately the last 6 weeks. And to date, over 1,100 pounds of garbage has been picked up and removed from our community. As always, we welcome any volunteers or anyone from the public to participate. The police department participated in Career Day on March 15th for fifth graders at Wilson Mills Elementary. And on March the 26th, I attended the Joe Cole Team Driver Luncheon at the Johnson County Agricultural Center. Basically reviewed safe driving projects that were created by the high school students in the community. Just an update on the intersection stop sign at Main Street, Wilk Jones Road and Others Pond Road. I had a DOT official come out there and look at it. He agreed that it seemed a bit awkward. But it's not official, but it doesn't look like he's gonna be able to do much about it. He said about the only thing they could do probably would be a three-way stop sign. He said that if you come from the Wilson's Mills direction across the tracks, they definitely cannot put a stop sign that way for safety reasons. So most likely the reason they have Others Pond Road and Main Street with the stop sign the directions they are, because it's a hazard trying to cross the track from either direction if you gotta look over your shoulder and cross the track. So it seems like about the best thing they're gonna be able to do is probably put a three-way stop sign and maybe possibly some type of flashing device, signal people to stop. That's not final though.
Chief, hold on. Can I ask you a quick question? Historically, and you guys probably know better than the chief, have we had any traffic incidents or accidents?
Yes, sir.
Not that I know of, but I've heard of some in the past.
I have been.
Say again, please.
They have been.
Okay. How many, any ideas?
I have any idea how many, but it's been so.
It seems the deciding factor was that railroad crossing right there, why they did it the way they did. In the month of March, the police department answered 1,471 calls for service. Of those, 53 were vehicle stops, 11 animal complaint calls. I might add to underscore the need for animal control officers, which we don't have at this time. Since this weekend, we've had 5 cases of animal calls. One was a child was bitten by a family pet. A 4.5-foot black snake was found at the post office. 2 stray dogs, and we had a drop-off dog this afternoon. All of which, our officers had to respond to those. The daily monitoring and evening checks, we had 897 neighborhood checks for the month of March, 95 church checks, and elementary school and business, 273 checks.
Okey dokey. Maintenance department. Randy's not.
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, can I interrupt for a second? Johnny?
Yes, sir.
We promised tonight we were going to make a resolution for allowing the chief to visit and speak
Right.
with USDA.
Right.
Thank you, Philip.
In the police department, we're looking some cars, and we understand that USDA would finance. So we need to give, the town council needs to give the chief permission to discuss with the USDA on funding these cars for us.
I make a motion that we allow Chief A.Z. Williams to interact with USDA representatives regarding grants for new police cars.
I'll say.
Motion's been made by Councilman McGowan, second by Councilman Easton, for our police chief to contact USDA in reference to their program for financing or giving grants for police cars. All in favor? All opposed? The ayes have it, move forward with that. Maintenance department, that position is vacant right now, and we have advertised it. If y'all know of anybody that will work and needs to work, we have a good job available, and that is being advertised. So at this time, we'll move right along to the finance report. Ms. Hudson?
Yes, Mayor Ozell, in your package, you'll find the revenue and expenditures for the month of March 2019. So if you have any questions or concerns?
We're beginning to get better than 100% on some of the revenues. I think it's good. Some of the construction is some of it, but the economy is some of it too.
Any other questions? Any questions or comments about the financing? Town administrators report.
Yes, sir. In our packets, Mayor, we have, resolutions of intent to amend the charter for the election cycles that have been, previously spoke about.
Yes, ma'am.
And so we need to, Mr. Anderson, would you like to, speak in reference to this about the charter amendment?
Well, we talked about it a couple of times, and what this does is set this matter for hearing. And, on May 20, basically, we had two options that we discussed, and I went back and did a little research, and one of those options won't work. The idea of changing the mayor's term to 6 years. Only authority we have is 2-year or 4-year terms. So the option that we can use if we want to proceed forward on this is the alternative option we discussed last time of just adjusting one of the council terms to a shorter term for the first year to get it on the right cycle. If y'all want to pursue that, we can put it on the agenda for a hearing, and I'll have a draft resolution in the agenda for you next time. Or you can defer it, just carry it over if you don't want to take action tonight. Table it, whatever council wishes.
Well, right now, if the mayor can't be switched, it won't do any good because it was 3 and 3. Three councilmen.
Well, we came up with an option that would do some good. It'll take a couple of years to make it work. So it's not critical timing right now. But
isn't it gonna have to be done when the three council members are elected rather than this time when there's 2 council members?
Yeah, but
it'll take effect. It'll only be next time when it takes effect.
Yeah, it won't be this time.
We can make the ordinance change now, or you can defer it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but if the mayor can't be changed, correct?
Right.
Then what good is it gonna do? You still gonna have 3 council members at one time and 2 the next? We don't have a 5.
Yeah, but what he's saying, Johnny, is not, this year, we're gonna have 2 council members.
Yeah, I know that. We
And
have
that's gonna
4-year
be
terms.
4-year term. The next time, when there's 3 council members up, one of the 3 will only be elected for a 2-year term.
And that would be the lowest of the
That
three
would be
vote getters.
that would put that person back, once you get to the next election cycle, then you'd be choosing 3 again.
Well, that's
So-
what I'm talking about, but it's still gonna be the same thing, 3 and 2.
No, it would
When
be-
you go long
yeah,
enough.
Yeah, but what it's gonna be is it's gonna be 3 council members and then 2 council members and the mayor. There'll
The
be,
mayor cannot be, he just told us the
Yeah,
mayor cannot be
yeah,
changed.
but we'll be changing the council members so that when the 3 are selected, the 3 won't be selected at the same time as the mayor is selected. There'll
You're
be
saying the mayor and 2 council
So we'll
members.
be good.
But then 3 council members will be
Yeah, but
selected.
you're never gonna be able to change that.
Not as long as you got 5 members.
Right, all they're trying to talk about is having it where it's gonna always be 3 people being chosen rather than 2 and 4.
But right now, the way you can look at it, it's 3 and 2, correct? The only time the
Yeah.
mayor has anything to do with anything is he's doing what he's doing tonight. Plus, he breaks a tie. That is what he has to do in our.
The idea that was presented to me that y'all were interested in looking at was to avoid a situation where you would have 3 council members and the mayor, 4 out of the total 6 people running at the same time. Because the idea was it would have more stability on the council if you have 3 people running and 3 people rather than 2 people and 4 people.
Yeah, that's
And that was,
the experience factor.
that was the idea that was presented
I
to
don't see
me
any
in coming up with the option. And so we looked at a couple options, and the one option that works is what Councilman Triplett suggested or explained to you that I suggested last time that I mean, this is gonna take several years for it to work out. But after a point, you get to the point where you'll have 3 and 3 instead of 4 and 2.
It'll be the 2021
So
election.
it'll take it'll take a while to make it work. If y'all want to proceed on it, we go ahead and proceed on it now, or have a hearing on it next week, and then don't do it if you don't want to do it then. I mean, there's several ways to do this. It's
Well, it's
Let me
been
just
working for over
mention-
20 years like it is, I don't know.
Let me just mention that this resolution is intent to consider a charter amendment, changing the election of council members and to schedule a public hearing.
right, that's all
This is what we
we're
need
trying
right
to do.
if y'all want to do that, and have a hearing on it next time, and
And I think we need to do that.
we'll have a sample out there, and you can look at it or not.
Personally, I don't see how it makes any difference.
Well, it has to largely with experience. And I'll give you just a quick example would be this last election. If Randy had not run and Philip had not run and I had run and 2 other new people with the same experience level in government as me, zip. You've got 3 that are experienced and 3 that, you would have had 3 inexperienced and 2 experienced. And you really need a 3 and 3. That's all it was for. I would like to personally just see us go ahead and approve the resolution of intent and worry about it next time and have the public hearing, and maybe the public can throw some stuff
Well, we
into.
do the next one just like we did you. Take you under our wings.
It's been a wonderful week.
Okay, do I hear a motion that we approve this, resolution to move forward with this possible change in the election process?
So we're calling for a public
Hearing.
Yes, just a public hearing.
Well, I'll make a motion that we
You can second it. He's already made the motion.
I second.
You can do the third if you want.
I second.
Councilman McGowan has made the motion to approve this resolution, and Councilman Triplett has seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
All ayes have it. All right, let's move forward. A voting delegate for the North Carolina League of Municipalities Conference.
Yes, Mayor, that conference is coming up in Hickory, May 14th through the 16th, and Leanna will be attending that. And she needs our blessings to be, she needs the council's blessings in reference to being the
Delegate.
delegate for.
The voting delegate.
What are you looking at me for?
I'm expecting you to make a
I'll make a
motion.
motion.
Okay, I'll
I'll
do that.
I'll make the
I
motion.
was gonna say you wrestled me into one last time, but I was just looking at you. I'm not gonna.
I make a motion that we make Leanna our voting, that Miss Worley our voting person.
We have a motion on the floor by Councilman Triplett to elect Leanna as our delegate to the North Carolina League of Municipalities Conference. Do I hear a second?
I second.
Seconded by Councilman Johnny Easton. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. We move forward with that. This time we'll move into the, oh yes, we've got that in focus submittal. I guess those of you have seen that.
Yes, this was added, late this afternoon, Mayor, this proposal, to complete the compensation study and staff analysis. This was discussed at our retreat, that we do this, that the town would, that this needs to be completed. Well, In Focus sent their proposal late this afternoon. That's the reason why it's not included in the packets. However, their proposal for the compensation study and what the details, the scope of the services and things of this nature of what they will deliver will be $7,850. And so, we need approval from town council to move forward.
Was this above and beyond what we approved of the 67,000? Was
Yes.
this something separate?
I thought this was included
Yeah, I thought it
myself.
was too.
I thought this was included. I don't have a vote, but it would be my desire to table this until we can get more information out there to do this study, because there are other towns around us who've done them, and I'm sure they would share that with us for a lot less than $8,000.
Well, part of my question is, I don't mind that, but my question is is this going to have an effect on the budget process that we're involved in? In other
No,
words, by tabling it till the next meeting, is that going to have an impact on us and our budget works?
no.
Not for next year, because they want payment for this, like this fiscal year.
But they did say in here that their report will be given to us by our May meeting.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
So
if we
you
don't,
could-
if
you
we
could-
table it,
Well,
then it's not.
Wednesday, then no later than May 8th, and then we have our next budget
So you-
session on the 9th, so.
But I'm kind of like Mayor, I'm kind of thinking that, we could do without it, in my opinion.
I think we
Well-
could gather pretty good, close information from our surrounding communities, towns, and establish our own guidelines that other folks have done. This, I just think that's pretty expensive. That's just my opinion.
We've always done it that way too,
Oh, we're done.
checking with the towns for ourselves, not hiring professionals to do it. We can make phone calls.
That's
Right,
correct.
Emily? Okay.
But it's at the discretion of the council. I'm just giving you my opinion.
What's everybody else's opinion?
I'm not in favor of it.
I thought it was included in the original.
I did too.
Yeah,
I honestly did myself,
I
Philip.
did too.
I don't see a reason for spending that kind of money, just for them to talk to 3 or 4 towns around and say what this average salary.
So do I hear a motion that we table this until there's further discussion?
I make a motion, we table it for further discussion on it.
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilman Easton and seconded by Councilman Gowan that we table this in-focus bid on doing a staff payroll analysis. All in favor?
Aye.
At this time, we'll move forward with our second open forum. If anyone wishes to address the group, please come to the podium. You have 3 minutes. If not, we'll close the second open forum at 5 minutes to 8,
May I say one thing before you adjourn?
if you're quick about it.
We talked about, a seal for the town. I've talked to you and a couple
Yes.
of others, but we talked about a seal and we talked about maybe getting some of the schools to design it. I've talked to current holders. They're designed their, I talked to a lady that does the shop. He said that they will do they'll make us some logos, and they'll give us different ones. The only thing they need is for us to come up with any special thing that we want to put on there. And they'll design the logo, and they'll design maybe 3 or 4 different versions of it that we've talked about having a logo different than this one here.
Well, that's our seal,
That's our
but the logo would be on the
stuff that
side.
would go on. Yeah,
Wasn't Valerie working on something like that? She had some ideas?
Yeah.
Okay, so we need to get with Valerie.
but also the graphic design class over there said they would if they would like that, if we wanted them to, they would put it as a project to design some and to let us look at it.
Sounds good to me.
And I'll talk with Leanna about anything that she might want to be included in that design, and then they can come up. They'll probably come up with 4 or 5 because it's going to be a class project to do it. And they will probably come up with a really nice design.
Sounds good. We appreciate it. Anyone else have any comment? I hear a motion to adjourn.
So,
Motion's been made by Councilman Wright and seconded by Councilman Triplett. All in favor? Yeah. Thank y'all for coming.
so that's the thing, is before you leave, they
The ninth. 3 o'clock.
I'm waiting.
budget.
Water?
We're cutting that live stream off, young lady.
Yes, I am.
Oh, whatever you say, boss.
I didn't hear it, but you must have been right.
You must have been right. How you doing tonight?
I want to tell you, your yellow tie showed up good on TV that week.
Oh, really? Oh, we
I
on
was
TV?
flipping through TV the other night and Garner.
Oh, okay.
And I thought to myself, that always sounds
I've seen that yellow tie.
So I stopped it, and it was you talking.
All right. Hey,
I'm at changing a road or something.
oh, man.
I said, well, you got that same yellow tie tonight.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
So you're gonna try to get us on the road to fix the project?
We are.
What happened to the deed that he gave before?